a king of the south shall attack him. In the King James Version, the word attack is push. Other versions use the word attack. When you look at the Hebrew original word, it's like when a goat provokes you, when he butts you, he's provoking a response. He wants a response. I've got neighbors who have goats, and they do this all the time. They butt each other, they play, they want to fight. And this is what we see in the Hebrew word there for attack. So this attack is meant to provoke a response. And this is what we see in the following words. It says, and the king of the north, in this case, again, the President of the United States, the head of NATO forces, shall come against him like a whirlwind. Chariots, horsemen, many ships shall enter the countries, overwhelm them and pass through them. Shall enter also the glorious land of the Middle East, and many countries shall be overthrown. And we know that Afghanistan was the first to be overthrown, and then Iraq, and so on and so forth. But let's keep going, because it mentions here that there's a particular country that escapes this conquest. It says, and these shall escape his hand, even Moab and the prominent people of Ammon. Well, that's on the eastern shore of the Dead Sea, and that's the country of Jordan. Jordan has escaped. As General Clark, U.S. plans to attack 7 Muslim states by MSNBC from September 25th, 2003 reads, 2004 presidential hopeful General Wesley Clark said the White House devised a 5-year plan after the 9/11 strikes, remember Daniel 1140, to attack 7 majority Muslim countries. A former commander of NATO's forces in Europe, Clark claims he met a senior military officer of Washington in November 2001 who told him the Bush administration was planning to attack Iraq first before taking action against Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Iran, Somalia, Sudan, etc. The general's allegations surfaced in his new book called The Clark Critique, appearing in the latest edition of the U.S. magazine Newsweek. Clark says after the September 11th attack, many Bush administration officials seemed determined to move against Iraq, invoking the idea of state sponsorship of terrorism, even though there was no evidence of Iraqi sponsorship of 9/11 whatsoever. So, since 9/11, all the news that's been coming out continually reinforces the reality that Daniel 11 verse 40 and so on is being fulfilled. And so, again, we live in a country where people don't live in reality. Christians are practicing pagan holidays. This is not based in the reality of the Creator's Word. These things are condemned, from Easter eggs to Christmas trees. All these things, people continue to live by these falsehoods and these fantasies. And they love Walt Disney, who was the king. And we continue to live by these false ideas, including that America is not a promised land.
Well, and we've been taught that America's not a prophecy. Because even as you're saying this, I'm going back to things that I've heard, and whenever you hear the Kingdom of the North, a lot of times it's taught that it's Russia, the sons of Rush. Sometimes you're taught that it's Turkey, because if you draw a line from Jerusalem to the North Pole, it runs right through Turkey.
But
to be honest, I've never
America
heard that it was NATO.
America has always been there to stop Russia, but nobody has been there to stop this white horse that's conquering the Middle East with wars and rumors of wars, conquering and to conquer. Countries are falling like dominoes, and they're listed. It even says in verse 43 that this particular king of the north would conquer Libya. Tell me who has conquered Libya. 2010,
Yeah.
Libya falls. Egypt's Mubarak was overthrown. It says they're going after the treasures of gold and silver. Verse 43. We've got the oil. We've got all admit to all of it. All these plans, PNAC documents, everything that's about taking the resources of the Middle East, from the Grand Chessboard by Zygmunt Brzezinski. All these things. Newt Gingrich said we're in the early stages of World War III, right after 9/11. Well, this is the white horse leads us into World War III, the second seal, the red horse, with Russia and China.
That I completely agree with. I mean, if anybody's been looking at the world stage and looking at what Russia and China are doing, you can tell there's a ramping up. And then you combine that with the massive population decline that both of those nations are experiencing. They only have a 10 to 15 year window to pull anything off if they can even try, because they're literally running out of military men. So, yes, I'm completely on board with that.
So we have the image of this white horse is a type of messianic militarism. Peace and safety.
Come on, stop it.
Imposing democracy with bombs. it appears as we're going to let the United States fight this terror. This is the white horse, and he'll save us. And only an American can fulfill this role. This is what America's been set up for. And the Creator has given us these prophecies to warn us that this is leading into World War III. And all this, again, is to warn the people that...
All right, sir. Hold on one second. I'm up against break. I got to take a commercial. We'll continue this conversation right after this. I've been driving all night, my hands wet on the wheel. Want to be the smartest person you know? Then keep listening. This is the Josh Tully Show on GCN Radio Network.
My dad was 59 when he collapsed from a heart attack late last year. Just this past August was when we spread his ashes on the St. Clair River. I loved my dad, but boy was he stubborn. He hadn't been to the doctor in over 25 years. His excuse? He simply couldn't afford it. He wasn't a rich man by any means. At less than $107 per month, libertyoncall.org would have been the perfect alternative for my father. Don't wait. Go to libertyoncall.org right now, for not just your sake, but for the sake of your loved ones. Again, that's libertyoncall.org.
Think body armor is just for commandos? Think again. In a collapse situation, you need to protect your entire family. Infidel Body Armor has created lightweight armor that propels AR-15 and AK-47 rounds. And priced at around $500, it won't break the bank. The whole kit weighs just 10 pounds. Light enough for your 7-year-old or 70-year-old. Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com and get yours today. That's InfidelBodyArmor.com. Just won't quit.
My name is Don Wiskin, and at 42 years old, I suffered a massive heart attack and was told I'd be on disability for the rest of my life. What did I do? I created Extendivite, a garlic and cayenne mix of 7 herbs, which rebuilt my heart and gave me back my life. For over 17 years now, I have made this formula available to you, so you don't have to suffer the same thing I did. Clean your blocked arteries and strengthen your heart and boost your natural immune system. I'm 60 years old now, and I still work every day. To get your Extendivite, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit heartdrop.com. Extendivite is only $69.95 for a 2-month supply of either capsules or liquid.
Extend your life with Extendivite.
Are you worried about how dangerous the world has become? These days of terrorist attacks, natural disasters, or even a future collapse, you need to be medically prepared to keep your family safe. I'm Joe Alton, MD of store.doomandbloom.net, where you'll find an entire line of uniquely designed medical kits and supplies for when help is not on the way. For everything from individual first aid kits to the ultimate family medical bag, go to store.doomandbloom.net today. That's store.doomandbloom.net. You'll be glad you did.
I'm Nick Soboleski, a Select Quote agent with a true story that could save you hundreds of dollars a year. A woman named Linda just called. Her husband, Ray, has a $300,000 group life insurance policy, but is changing jobs and can't take it with him. Well, I am partially shocked the highly rated term life insurance companies we represent and found Ray, who is 41 and takes medication to control his cholesterol, a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $26 a month. That's almost twice the coverage for less than half of what he had paid. If Select insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, 1-800-403-4885. That's 1-800-403-4885. 1-800-403-4885. Or go to selectquote.com. We shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Repricing vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
If you want to raise the next generation of Patriot leaders, take a look at Freedom Project Academy, a Judeo-Christian online school for kindergarten through high school. No Common Core teaching methods or high-stakes testing. Freedom Project Academy is government-free, doesn't accept any government funding, and is a fully accredited private school. All classes are taught live online with real teachers across the country. Open enrollment runs March through July, but classes fill up quickly. Check them out at fpeusa.org. That's fpeusa.org.
this out in your interpretation of prophecy? Because I do find this absolutely fascinating.
Sure, let's continue. Again, back in 2001, Europe cringes at Bush crusade remark. He said this crusade, this war on terrorism is going to take a while. Also, General Jerry Boykin, he repeatedly told Christian groups in prayer meetings that George Bush was chosen by God to lead the global fight against Satan. This is from the Telegraph in October 2003. He said, he told one gathering, why is this man in the White House? The majority of Americans did not vote for him. He's in the White House because God put him there for times such as this. So again, we have the image of the white horse savior here. Even George Bush admitted, he said, God told me. He said, God told me to strike at Al-Qaeda, and I struck them. And then God instructed me to strike at Saddam, which I did. And now I'm determined to solve the problem in the Middle East. Former CIA Director James Woolsey is on record as saying in 2002, we're in a world war. It began on September 11th. This current world war will be unlike any other in history. We're on a march. It'll be a long, bloody conflict lasting years, perhaps decades, and I don't believe this terror war is ever really going to go away until we change the face of the Middle East, which is where he is conquering. This is the glorious land that we're spoken of in Daniel chapter 11. Let's go over to Revelation 6, verse 2. And the Lamb opens up the first seal, and I heard one of the four living creatures saying with a loud voice like thunder. Okay, again, this seal's opening up, and there's this voice like thunder. Well, guess what it sounded like in New York City when that plane hit the second building? Like thunder. Come and see, and I looked, behold, a white horse. He sat on it, had a bow. And a crown was given unto him. He didn't inherit the crown. It was given to him like an election, or the Supreme Court gave Bush his crown. He went out conquering and to conquer the Middle East. Okay? Nobody fulfilled this. Even the first Gulf War in 91 under Bush Sr., you still had a conquering type by this USA. So America is in the prophecies, and we have to quit living in denial that this is leading to bad stuff. You know, World War III is bad. It's going to be real bad. And this is what most political analysts and everybody is expecting. They're expecting war to take place with Russia. Listen to this. Pentagon concludes that America is not safe unless it conquers the world. This was an article put out by Paul Craig Roberts in July of 2015 of last year. Let me read this because this is key into understanding that America, the white horse, is leading us into war with Russia. This is what Paul Craig Roberts says. And the Pentagon, this is the plan of the Pentagon. Pentagon has released its national military strategy of the United States for 2015. The document announces a shift in focus from terrorists to state actors. Okay, so they're shifting away from small group terrorists to actual states, actual countries and nations that are challenging international norms. It says it is important to understand what these words mean. Governments that challenge international norms of the neocons are sovereign countries that pursue policies independently of Washington's policies. These, quote, revisionist states are threats, not because they plan to attack the U.S., which the Pentagon admits neither Russia nor China intend, but because they are independent. Be sure to grasp the point. The threat to the neocon-controlled is the existence of sovereign states whose independence of action makes them revisionist states. In other words, their independence is out of step with the neoconservative unipower doctrine that declares independent actions to be the right of Washington alone. Washington's history-given hegemony precludes any other country being independent in its actions. By definition, a country with a foreign policy independent of Washington is a threat. This is the white horse. The Pentagon's report defines the foremost revisionist states as Russia, China, Iran, and North Korea. Okay, we got the BRICS nations. Okay, the Shanghai Cooperation Organization consists of Russia and China, and this is the alliance which composes the symbol of the red horse, which is going to counterattack, as we see in Daniel chapter 11, verse 34. Because after America takes out Libya and is attempting Syria and even Iran, it says, the news out of the east and north shall trouble him. Therefore he shall go out with great fury to destroy and annihilate many. This annihilation is coming. This is World War III. This is what the Messiah said in Matthew 24. He said, after wars and rumors of wars be not troubled, these things must come to pass, the conquest of the Middle East, but the end is not yet. So 9/11 to now has been 15 years. So he said, well, when 9/11 occurs, everyone was going to think, oh, this is it. This is the end. Well, it wasn't. It's just a white horse. It's going to take years to conquer these countries that are listed. And then it says the great annihilation takes place. Well, this is the second seal. So he's following with a progression of the events. Let's continue reading.
Well, you know, when we look at this...
Let me finish the article first. It is not yet certain that Iran has escaped the fate that Washington imposed on Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya, Syria, Somalia, Yemen, Pakistan, Ukraine, and by complicity, Palestine. The White Horse invaded, bombed, and has overthrown 11 governments, murdering and displacing millions of peoples since the Clinton regime, and is currently working to overthrow governments in Armenia, Kazakhstan, Ecuador, Venezuela, Brazil, and Argentina. Again, this is from the Pentagon document. Russia is under fire for not acting in accordance with international norms, which means Russia is not following Washington's leadership and behaving as a vassal. This Pentagon report tells us that war with Russia is our future unless Russia agrees to become a vassal state, like every other country in Europe, Canada, Australia, Ukraine, and Japan. Walker Roberts has said it. See, everyone is agreeing with what I'm saying, but they're not coming out and saying, yes, it's a prophecy. But it is.
Well, yeah, and here's what's interesting about that. I did a search, because I was kind of confused about what does wars and rumors of wars mean. I'm thinking, okay, well, does this mean there's a war? And then, nope, psych, April Fools, there's really not. You know, we think of rumor as something that's not true.
Well, we have a rumor that we may be going into Iran. There's a rumor that we may be going here or there or here or there.
Actually, what that actually means is not really a rumor as we take rumor. What it means is confusion of war. So we have wars and confusions of wars, and if you look at
right. I heard you say that the other day. Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah, and that's what we're living in.
And it's keeping everybody confused, and it keeps everybody off balance, and it's keeping everybody in fear. But in actuality, it should be. As you know, the leaders of this country, the international banking, this is all part of the Illuminati plan to bring a world war to one more government. And that's exactly what's
Oh, yeah. And that's why we fight Al-Qaeda, but at the same time we fund them. Same with ISIS. Why ISIS came from the American forces. Yeah, what's the next step then? I mean, if this is the case, what's the next thing that we should be looking for? Is it an attack by Russia on us? Is it, like what's specific?
Well, the NATO forces continue to parade their military might. They keep surrounding Russia. They keep provoking the bear, and all this stuff. Now.